Normies, get out!
Good grief. Oh, why, hello there. I didn't see you. Yeah, I know. I've used that joke before, and I know what you're saying. But that joke isn't funny anymore. So, yeah, it's Halloween. I'm doing a bit of Halloween reading right now. So, yeah, listen to this. So every year as Halloween approaches, the chorus of complaints gets louder. Just before Halloween in 2016, Disney stopped selling the costume for Maui, a character voiced by Dwayne Johnson in the new film Moana, because people complained it was cultural appropriation. The character is a muscular, tattooed Polynesian demigod who wears a grass skirt. To normal people, the character pays homage to the legends of the Pacific Islanders. But some morons got upset and began venting on Twitter that, quote, culture is not a costume. That's funny because it can be, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. You know, like here in Japan, you know, if I was to wear like a yukata when I go to a matsuri, people think that's cool. They don't care about that whatsoever. So instead of just ignoring these lunatics, Disney pulled the costume from the stores, of course, because Disney's, you know, run by lunatics as well, saying the team behind Moana has taken great care to respect the cultures of the Pacific Islands that inspired the film, and we regret that the Maui costume has offended some. We sincerely apologize and are pulling the costume from our website and stores. The Huffington Post cheered the move, saying, quote, people shouldn't wear brown skin as a costume without understanding the experience of brown people. Well, tell that to Justin Trudeau and all of the outrage mob, because apparently they were quick to forgive him for that stuff. The following year, the Disney costume controversy reared its ugly head again. Cosmopolitan magazine suggested to parents maybe don't dress your kid up as Moana this Halloween, and said that it's on you to teach your kid not to be racially insensitive. The USA Today issued a guide on the controversy titled, Is it okay for a white kid to dress up as Moana for Halloween? Practically half of the Disney characters are now considered offensive. Pocahontas, Jasmine from Aladdin, the Crows from Dumbo, King Louie from The Jungle Book, the Indians in Peter Pan, and the list goes on. You know, it's funny because, like, Justin Trudeau went in blackface, and I really have no problem with that. I just think it's stupid. I've never done it myself. But it's just really weird how it seems like it's always these liberals who end up getting caught doing the blackface thing, and yet they're the ones who are the ones who are totally against doing that sort of thing. Just shows the hypocrisy, I suppose. So yeah, so the book here, it goes on to talk about cultural appropriation through Halloween costumes and such. But you know, I was born in the 70s, and I distinctively remember the Village People, and there was one of the guys who would dress up as a Native American or an Indian or whatever the political term is, and I don't see anybody you know, going back and talking about how terrible the Village People were. It's funny. But the funny thing is that the thing about cultural appropriation is that the people who will get all upset about that, but yet if a man dresses as a woman and claims he's a woman and competes in women's sports and wins first place because he's a man and he's built differently, that they don't have a problem with that whatsoever. So I would call that gender appropriation, but apparently that gets a pass. And that, to me, is the most misogynist thing out there, is to just crap all over true women's achievements. And it's funny because the people who want to believe that there's no, you know, biological differences between men and women, and a woman can do everything that a man can do, is evidenced by these transsexuals who basically they win the trophies because they're proving that, yeah, there is a difference. So to say that just because you dress up, I mean, you can spend all day in a garage, but it doesn't make you a car, okay? But yet people, you know, if you put on women's clothing, then all of a sudden you are a woman or something, and you can force people to carry on with your ridiculous delusions. So it's ridiculous. So cultural appropriation, in my opinion, is like Elizabeth Warren, who claims that she is Native American for decades, and yet she can just use this to her advantage, and then when she gets called out on it, and then she fights back, and then she eventually agrees to do a blood test, and it turns out that she's not Native American whatsoever. But yet, of course, she gets a complete pass on that sort of thing too. Again, that to me, that is actual cultural appropriation. Is basically assuming a culture that doesn't belong to you, and using that as a badge or some other. I find that to be incredibly stupid. So anyhow, yeah, the whole woke thing is ridiculous, you know. So like, I'm a white guy living in Asia, and so if all I ever, oh, hey there, little guy, what's going on? What's dude? Well, come on, you let me down. Well, don't look at me like that. Come on, we worked it out. Come on, I was Picard and you were gonna be Kirk. All right? Yeah, come on, get over there and yeah, get dressed, okay? Gosh. Jeez. Anyhow, what was I saying? Yeah, so if I, you know, being a white guy living in Asia, you know, if all I ever did was constantly find fault with my work peers and insinuate that they despise me just because I have different colored skin, I would completely deserve if somebody were to tell me, and you just, you know, get back to your own country with that attitude. I would completely deserve it if I had that type of a rotten attitude. But yet people get away with that a lot, and at least in the United States, and I'm sure elsewhere as well. So yeah, this woke stuff is just a bunch of BS, and it's a roadblock to true racial harmony. In other words, just leaving everybody alone and not giving a crap about what race they are and all that kind of stuff. So it is Halloween night, and here in Japan, most people they don't really do anything Halloween, because like 20 years ago nobody knew what Halloween was in Japan. Okay, so I do like this arm thing. It's really cool. I like this. This is great. So yeah, I got like this. It says by Logitech. You know, it's like this little arm. I think I showed it in a previous video. It's pretty cool though. Hooking the camera up to that. So anyhow, what was I saying? Oh yeah, Halloween. So last year, people were acting like primates. It was all Japanese people, to be honest. It's really embarrassing when you see foreigners who act like complete pigs. But last year, these Japanese people in Tokyo, in the Shibuya area, which is like the young trendy place for people to get together. Hey, all right, there you go. See, look at that. Kirk and Picard together at last. Isn't that great? Yeah. All right, you sit here with me. Okay, so last year they were overturning cars and like jumping on top of the cars and everything. These people were just completely out of their minds. I don't know if they were on drugs or not, but this past weekend in Shibuya, police were out in full force, and it seemed to have been a completely safe night, which is good, because Halloween is supposed to be all about having fun and such, right? Right. So, like a long time ago, like 20 years ago, the Osaka loop line, the train line goes in a loop around Osaka. And when I lived in Kansai back then, I never really used the loop line because the subways were just a lot easier to get around that way. Anyhow, so they had this Halloween party train on Halloween night, and people would just get together. They would dress up in costumes and, you know, get on the train, just have a good time. It was pretty easy. I never went to that because, you know, just being an introvert, just really wasn't interested in trying to meet people I didn't know. And then the people in Tokyo copied the Osaka thing, and so then they had the Yamanote loop line where people were doing this Halloween party train thing. Okay, and so then that's when it started getting pretty unruly. Like, they were disrupting the actual commuters on their way home from work, and they were getting very unruly and disrespectful, and they were just a bunch of crappy foreigners, and it just reflects poorly on everybody, I think. So, but yeah, this year, perfectly fine. No problems. I didn't even buy any chocolate or anything. I just, you know, I kind of forgot about to do that for my daughter. She didn't seem to care anyways. So, yeah, let's talk about models and crap. I have been doing a lot more iron bead work. Yeah, let me show you that stuff. Okay, so hold on a second. Let me take this off the tripod here, or the arm, whatever it's called. Okay, so here we go. We are in my room again. Yay. Okay, so check this out. This is getting to be so big. This, I'm not done with it because I ran out of the darkest red color here, and you can see like a big hole here and here as well. But Captain America, this is very gibungus. I'm also, I need to still do this this corner up here, but I ordered some because I can get perler beads in Japan, but they don't have all the colors, and this is the crayon apple red, and I can't get it here in Japan. It's crazy. I don't know why. I can get other colors. You know, I can go to the Yamada and they have some colors there, or I can find a bunch more online. But I'm using both the Hama and perler beads for this project. Check this out. This is cool. So I've also bought a bunch of these nano beads, and they are very, very tiny. But check this out. This is Devil Hunter Yoko. So, like, you know, here's my hand in comparison to that, and there's just really, really tiny beads. And I ended up getting this little tweezers thing here. That's for nano beads. Very, very sharp. And I'm sure I can probably use this for modeling stuff too. So speaking of modeling, let's get right to that. Supplies! The first thing I'd like to show you is something I've actually already opened. So I'm just kind of pretending to open it. I'm just showing you the package, really. I'm not being dishonest. Just shut up and just bear with me. Okay, so this is Tamiya Craft Tools safety goggles. Safety goggles, if you want to. You can leave your friends behind. Alright, and so you put these on your head, and then they protect your silly eyeballs. So, like, check me out. Am I not cool? Oh my gosh, I'm so cool. Let me look at myself. Dude, I'm so cool. Except I'm not. But yeah, so anyhow, you can see here, it does well to totally cover, to encapsulate your face. And it's up here, right? So you got like this soft part here that kind of detaches, I guess. But if you, I would not recommend doing that though. But it's like a soft kind of like a soft plastic, rubbery kind of a thing here. And so yeah, it fits on your nose. And I'll have you know, I have like a gibungus head. So if it fits my head, most likely, unless you're the elephant man, you have nothing to worry about. So it fits really snugly. So you don't have to worry about any resin dust getting in your crazy face, okay? So next, I'd like to show you, also made by Tamiya. I never even knew this existed. I don't know if it's new or not. This is a sheet, it's a masking tape with sheet attached. So basically, it's just like a plastic sheet that's attached to masking tape. So if you want to, if you got like a resin figure, right, and you want to mask around here, and if you don't want to mask off the entire leg, you just wrap around the masking right here, and the sheet's kind of protect the whole rest of it. So you don't have to mask off all of this and potentially, ruin the paint job you've done, right? So that's what this is. So yeah, it says masking tape with plastic sheeting, 550 millimeters. That's great. That is great. I picked up a couple of these. I didn't even know these existed. These are Gaia Notes enamels, and I've never really paid attention to their enamels, but here we have texture paints. This is soot here, and then this is oil. So this is going to be kind of glossy, and then this is going to be flat. But here you go. Here are your colors. Now, for example, the oil here. I do have, and I picked this up in Australia. Like, this is AKA Interactive's fuel stains. You'll see that they are different colors. So that's how I kind of justified buying this as well as this, right? So I'm not a complete spaz, but this might have different uses. So this is really, really cool. Soot and oil, and there's also they have rust colors and dust as well, and dust is coming to me, so you're gonna see that maybe later, unless I forget or something. Yeah. Alright, so as promised, this is the Gaia Notes enamel texture paint. This is dust. And this would be great for dry brushing, I'm sure. So yeah, it's a nice color. So this is new. I guess this was shown at the hobby show at the end of September, which unfortunately I was not able to attend. This is Mr. Lascius. Well, the katakana says Lascius, so maybe I should just say Lascius, but this is Lascivious, whatever. Aura. This is a new color, so this is blonde color. And, as you would expect, oh my gosh, it is an actual blonde color for hair. That is great. So they also have brown and black, which I'll be getting probably eventually. The black I wasn't so sure about because of the way it looked like a pale gray. I'm like, what, is that black or what? It just needs to be stirred up because I just looked at some pictures on Twitter, and I retweeted some pictures of the paints that were taken at the hobby show. So anyhow, this is really cool. I picked this up just because it was so beautiful. This is Star Bright Iron by Gaia Notes. So, the Gaia Notes bottles are a little bit taller, a little bit thinner, but now it doesn't look quite as silvery as this because this is all the stuff mixed on, it falls down on the bottom. But after stirring this up, This is like, oh, here we go. That's a good color right there. You can see there. That is such a beautiful, beautiful, sparkly blue metallic iron color. And look, I just got some on my stupid finger because I'm a spaz. And why doesn't this want to fit back in the bottle? Anyhow, look at that beautiful color. Oh my gosh, I'm going to wipe my fingers right now. I won't touch the camera with that. Yeah.
Was dich models.
First, let's look at a tiny little kit. This is very small, as you can see. This is the Revell Sukhoi SU-27 flanker. Jairus built this thing for the flanker group build, and yet I have not yet done a final video for that group build. I really need to. I have not been in the mood for doing any videos. I mean, you're lucky you're getting this one, I guess. Anyhow, minimal decals, but of course it is 1/44 scale. And then here's this blah blah blah, whatever. And here are the little cute little parts. Nice detailing for its size. And I understand that this comes together pretty nicely. So there you go. There's no cockpit detail, I don't think. Not that I could see from the instructions. I don't think. I mean, just looking at the parts here. I don't know. Let's look at the instructions real quick. Alright, so there you go. Yeah, maybe there's no real detail inside there, I don't think. It's just kind of an empty hole. And, oh my gosh. This man has no face. We have to change that. Alright, here we go. Okay. There you go. Alright. Look at all these frickin' languages everywhere. I can't even recognize some of these. I mean, it's... Well, okay, so it's got German, English, French, what, Netherlands? Italian? ES. I don't know. Estonia? I know there's Russian there, but... Yeah, anyhow, who cares? Alright, so here's the instructions, and... yeah, there's no cockpit detail, but, you know, who cares, right? It's just a tiny little thing, so, you know, screw you if you care too much about that. So anyhow, it's a cute little kit. It'll probably take me like 5 years to build it, I'm sure. So, there we go. That is a neat little kit. Alright, so I ordered stuff from Hobby Link Japan. I saw this in the Hobby Link Japan's video. I have to pull back because this is a big ass box here. Dude. Oh my gosh. PL01 Polish light tank prototype. Does that look so cool or what? And so it gives you like different patterns you can do. Here's like digital camouflage. This is, you know, traditional camouflage. That is so cool. I swear, that is so awesome looking. Alright, let's take a look inside. Yeah, so this was shown at the hobby show. This is by Takom. I've never built a tank kit before. I've never built a Takom kit before. So I guess this is what you call a jig, so you can assemble the wheels and such, and you know, before you put it on the tank, you can assemble the tracks. So I have yet to take any of these out of the plastic bag at this point. I don't really see it's really necessary to do so. This looks like the bottom of the turret, perhaps. And this would be the top of the turret. Okay, so there's a nice textured feel to it. Now, here is the upper and lower halves. This isn't assembled or anything. They're just kind of stuck them together and put them in the bag to save space. Here are the sides of the tank, which really kind of obscure all the work you're going to do on these tank treads. But it just looks so cool. I mean, the design, it looks very much like, I don't know, it reminds me of like Tron, like the tanks from Tron and something from Gundam or something. Really, really cool. So yeah, Brian did a video of that at the hobby show, and I contacted him, and we've been talking about this. Really freaking cool. Now it does have some clear parts here, so for like the headlights and stuff. That is so great. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, sold. He sold me on this completely. I really need to have this kit. So, and I had a bunch of money in my PayPal account that I had been saving up for, you know, the money I had gotten from buying stuff from people, and they were reimbursing me. So here are your decal sheets, and there's like another, like a photo etch floating around in here somewhere, I think. Let me open this up. Oh, yeah. This is the photo etch. So tiny. Alright, so apparently this is a real tank. It's not just like somebody's imagination or whatever. Based on the Swedish light tank, this concept tank was jointly developed by Obram of Poland and BAE Systems of the United Kingdom in 2013. Alright, now there's no detailed interior, so it's going to be a lot faster build, I'm sure. And it's talking about how to do the photo etch crap. And other crap that they sell. Alright. That digital camouflage is really cool. All of the color callouts is in they're in MiG ammo colors, and so I kind of don't feel like buying a bunch of MiG paints, but I don't know, I'll see what I can come up with. I guess I'm colorblind, so that might pose a bit of a problem, but anyhow, so this is what you see on the box cover. So this is that PLO one. It says concept right there, and here's the traditional camouflage. That digital camo scheme is so cool looking, but you're gonna have to come up with that on your own by yourself. So yeah, good luck with that, I guess. Yeah, so this is really super duper neato. Alright, let's move on to the next kit. Now, HLJ also had like a end of September sale. I think it was like a pre-hobby show sale, and I got something. Oh my gosh, I do not deny my heart has desired this for a long time here. Alright, so this is the SDF-1 Macross, the movie edition. So this is the standard. The TV version I don't think looks as cool, and that did get repopped. It was a limited edition, but the movies is so much cooler looking, I think, so whatever. My friend has this. We've been discussing building this. It looks really, really cool. You got these tiny little Valkyries here that, whatever. It comes with a Macross, a Destroyed monster there in 4000 scale. So yeah, this is a 4000 scale model kit. He said that the armed platforms are like little miniature kits in themselves. This is just really, really awesome. Now let's take a look inside here. So yeah, of course I would like to light it up. I've seen Adorable Hige. He has like just a totally, just incredibly cool job he's done. Of course, he's a master at electronics, and I don't think I can even go get close to that. But I do want to try doing something. The legs of the kit, I think these are like the booms here, the cannon booms, I think. The legs are where Macross City is located. I didn't really realize this at first, I guess, but oh yeah, that's right, I got some of these. I did remove this because I wanted to take a look at the legs. Now, let me get my pointer outer here. Okay, so there are some clear parts that can fit over here, or you can get some opaque parts for, like, you know, when the fortress is under attack. They have like these shutters, these armored shutters that would come down and protect the city inside. But yeah, the Macross City is in the legs, and I think it's also kind of in the center part too. It kind of takes up like the whole bottom part of the SDF-1. And so anyhow, there are some clear parts. And here they are. They just fit right on top of there, but there's no detail in there. And Adorable Hige, he had built up like a little tiny miniature city inside there that you can see through the windows, and that is just such a cool idea. And I don't know, I'd like to scratch that up and do it myself. I mean, this would be pretty easy to drill out, remove that, and then put the windows there. And on the inside, it should be cavernous enough, right? It's not a snap kit, really, so it should be cavernous enough to just kind of scratch build a little city inside there. My friend has a 3D resin printer that he just recently got, and he's trying to figure that out. So maybe he can try finding something that, and then scale it down and fit inside there. That would be pretty cool, I think. And so here are the thrusters, and Strider Prime, he did a video of this. He drilled this out, and all he did was he lit up the thrusters only. But I have seen like Adorable Hige, he did a whole lot of lighting. Like I said, I wouldn't be able to do it, but he did like the runway lights for the armed and all that, which look really, really fantastic. And that would be something to really consider doing. So I'm not sure what these tan colored things are about. I think these are the back of the thrusters or something other. I'm not sure. So anyhow, I'm not gonna spend too much time on this. I don't know if anybody's really done an unboxing of this kit before, but this was really cool, and I got it on sale too, so I was happy about that. It does come with polycap joints, so it does have some mobility. That is fantastic. Alright, let's look inside the other bag here. Now, it does, as I showed in the picture, it has like these little, there's like a sheet of plastic, or maybe it was on the other one I just had. Oh yeah, here it is. Gosh, I totally missed this. Okay, here it is. So, you have like little Valkyries and Super Valkyries. And I think what would probably be better to do is, instead of trying to cut these out off of here, that would be really insane, I think. I think as I said, my friend and I were discussing strategies on this. Get some Oyumaru, or I know this is called blue stuff in like North America at least. This is like plastic clay that you have to heat up in boiling water, and you can make molds out of stuff. I think that just kind of just creating a mold of that and just splorching it onto that, and if possible, just do a clear resin, and maybe you can even try to like put like a fiber optic in there, and maybe make little thrusters that light up in there. That might be pretty cool, having that on the runway. Just an idea. Don't know if I can do it, but that's just an idea. I always have all these grandiose plans on what to do with stuff, but I never get around to it. I am a spaz. I think this is one of the armed carriers, and the armed platform carriers are even different between the TV show and the movie. I mean, the TV show version looks pretty cool, but the movie version is way better. That looks like the bridge of the Macross. And here are more thrusters. Oh my gosh. Cool, man. Very cool. Oh, I think that other thing I had looked at, those were like cannons or something. If I remember right, those are the thrusters to like make it go up, I think, and it actually becomes the shoulder, like the pectoral area of when it's in the robot mode. But anyhow, I do like that detail there. That's just really great, I think. That's cool looking. And I don't know what this is, but it looks cool. And yeah, this is one of the flight deck carriers here. Yeah, this must be, that's what this is, I think. So, and there are decals to put on here as well, so. And we can, let's go ahead and look at that next. Alright, instructions, whatever. Very cool. So it gives you an option if you want to paint the blue yourself, or just use this instead. Just an idea. Just an idea. But that is cool. That is super duper neato. That is neat. And this is for your display base. You have that. Do you remember love? That's cool, man. Very cool. Alright. I shall put that into bags later. I got this at Book Off Plus. Let's redo the camera angle here. This is 1/8 scale vinyl sofubi model kit of the Stormtrooper. Actually, it has parts for the Desert Trooper as well. This is by Argonauts. See, look at that, Argonauts. I didn't even know that Argonauts even made a sofubi Stormtrooper. That's really cool. Now, Argonauts is like a different brand name that Alshima used, just like they used to. Maybe not so much anymore. I think they use Skynet for the diecast, but they used to release plastic models under the Skynet name. I don't think they do that anymore. In the 90s, they did Argonauts, and they had the license for Star Wars. So I have one Argonauts resin TIE Interceptor. It's 72nd scale, but it is considerably smaller than the Fine Molds TIE Interceptor. But anyhow, I'm rambling. So this is 1/8 scale. Kyoto has a 1/6 scale. And I got this kit. I'm like, oh my gosh, it was only like 1,600 yen. I was so happy. And I took it home, and I realized something. Do you see what I'm talking about? Look at this guy. Aren't you a little short for a stormtrooper? Yeah. Let's take a look. So I opened it up already. I looked at the parts. I didn't open any of the bags or anything. I was tempted to like, yeah, gee, maybe I'll just sell this guy. But what I might do, I probably could cut here along the armor, cut it out, and maybe you get like a thick hose or something rather to fit inside there, and then putty along. I could maybe expand the knee joints so that his legs don't look like, I don't know, man. It's just it looks like, no offense, but like a Korean man cosplayer or something. You know, those stocky legs. It just doesn't look right. Yeah. Or maybe it's supposed to be like Luke Skywalker, because he was shorter. I don't know, but the parts look pretty nice. I have the gloss white paint, the V color. In theory, it should be pretty easy to build up and paint. It's all white pretty much, and just hand paint the black, I guess, the matte black, and it comes with a pretty impressive looking resin blaster gun. That is really cool. And so it's got like the little side stock and the sight. I guess that's what that is. It's pretty cool. So I don't know. I think I'm gonna keep them. So there you go. But yeah, it has the desert stormtrooper stuff. So that's pretty cool. And oh yeah, that's right. One thing about this kit though, which should be pretty easy to fix, I imagine, is like this part here is totally warped. It's all bent. Oh, you can't see it, sorry. This part here is totally warped and bent. So, well, whatever. I think I can probably fix that. Just soak it in hot water and bend it back into shape, in theory. And last but not least, speaking of Luke Skywalker in Stormtroopers, I got this you saw this in the last update. Really cool. Well, anyhow, I got that for sale at that toy store that went out of business in my town. Anyhow, I was at Yamada, and they had this marked down. 1,200 yen for the Stormtrooper by Grabthar's Hammer. What a savings. I saw this and I'm like, dude, totally. Yeah, let me get this. 1,200 yen? Why not, right? And it's really just the same thing as the Luke. I mean, it's got the laser rifles and all that. Yeah, the E11, that's the name of that laser pistol that was in that other kit. I don't remember seeing that small handgun though. I don't remember seeing that in the movies. And of course the long rifle. So yeah, it was on sale, and they had the Boba Fett version Slave 1 for like 1,900 yen. So I think maybe in a few weeks I might go back there later and get it. So, and this is so cool that you don't even really need to paint it, really. I mean, I'm not totally sure if I know like the C-3PO one left fingerprints rather easily. So just doing a clear coat, like just a gloss clear, kind of took care of that. Let me see if this leaves fingerprints easily. You know, it doesn't. Cool. Alright, very minimal painting. Of course, this has... these are the dumbass stickers, but it has decals too, I'm pretty sure. Doesn't it? Yep, here are the decals. So, the decals are, you know, you can use that for those little blue stripes on the side of the helmets, you know, the breather mask. Right there, and also along the nose bridge. So... Which, of course, they filter the air, but not for poison. At least that's in Force Awakens, whatever. And it's got some pretty cool looking decals there. You can, you know, like the little Imperial emblem. Do what you want with that, I guess. So, yeah, neat. This will be a super fun build. Be a pretty quick build. I could probably take this up to my in-laws' place and build them there. Alright, so that's it for the acquisitions for this month. Okay, here is the first butt tunnel, and this is held for review. my filter picked this up. Okay, so Jingles 009 says, okay, so this is the resin pilots that I had shown off for the MPC Snowspeeder and the Battlestar, or sorry, the Buck Rogers Starfighter. So this is a very old video. I at least 5 or 6 years ago, I can't remember. So he says, Jingles 009 says, what would have been so much better and interesting would have been to paint the new figures instead of showing them fresh from the bag in plain white. Can't tell shit with what they look like, dude. Fail on your part. Well, it's like an unboxing. I mean, you're gonna get mad at people for doing unboxing videos without building it first? You know, you shut your mouth. How can you say I go about things the wrong way? Alright, here we go. Kevin Barksdale says, and this is the Hasegawa Tomcat. This is the Area 88 Tomcat unboxing. Can't stand someone trying to do a review and not know the parts of what they're trying to review. What he didn't know was the drop tank. Okay, fine. Alright, so I didn't properly identify the drop tank or the aim missile or whatever. So yeah, so I just said I can't stand dick brains like you, or trying to offer some information in a video's comment section and are completely incapable of not being a complete asshole. So it's, he says what he didn't know was the drop tank. So that's assuming that he's talking to other people and that, like, I don't read my own comments. I don't know why people, although I guess a lot of people, they don't read their comments or they don't respond to them. I usually respond to mine, or at least I read them all. But this guy just assumes I don't even read this stuff. Okay, so the last... Oh, gosh. Alright, so I had a hard time with this guy here, this HDOG12. At first I thought this is my fault. Like, maybe I was just being too, what's the word, terse, abrupt, I guess. That I wasn't being friendly enough. And the more I thought about it, like, no, this guy really is a jerk. So, okay, where do you get those cool and useful tools? He asks. I just didn't want to bother. I just said, I live in Japan. You know, he can look this up himself, right? So he asks, so those tools are only in Japan? And I'm like, well, that's for you to find out. I don't know where you live. You know, I get people asking me where they can buy stuff in their country, but I have no idea because I don't live there. Like talking to my Canadian friends, it's weird that they are able to get the GSI Crayolas Mr. Color lacquer paints, but they are not able to get the Hobby Color, Mr. Hobby Color acrylics. Why? I don't know. I have no idea. But this is the kind of stuff that I will learn from just talking to people. And of course also people will just assume that I can get stuff that they're talking about because, you know, they don't live in Japan, they don't know what's available here. They just tell me, oh, you just buy that or buy this, and it's like, well, maybe I can't because they don't have it here in Japan. And I pointed out that, you know, some people, they just don't realize that I live in Japan. And so I said, you know, occasionally some people accuse me of paying too much for Japanese brand tools without even realizing that I live in Japan. Like, especially when I, like, Tamiya sandpaper. Like, sometimes people will accuse me, oh, you're paying too much for that sandpaper, blah, blah, blah. Like, well, I live in Japan, and it's, like, more convenient for me, especially because where I work, there's like 2 hobby shops within easy walking distance, like a block away. And yet, if I want to go to the home center, I have to, you know, drive. And so, you know, whatever. So, yeah, so this guy, he explodes at me. Wow, that's an asshole response from you. I wasn't accusing you of overpaying. No, I didn't say he was doing that. I just said some people. I occasionally get people, right? In fact, I could care 2 shits. Well, actually, no. So this guy is an American, right? I couldn't care 2 shits. He's like, I could care less. No, I couldn't care less, okay? And being an American, I used to make that mistake myself, and I had some British people set me straight on that. Like, well, if you could care less, what's preventing you from doing so? I'm like, oh yeah, I guess you're right, huh? So he says, my question was simple. Where did you get that? That's it. You could have said, look at Amazon, or look at eBay, or look at this website or that website. Instead, you go for the dickhead response. I didn't know you lived in Japan. Well, okay, so obviously, if this guy knows to find this kind of stuff, why is he asking me? Because I don't even, I mean, this is the Back to the Future video. I think this is the last one I had uploaded, which is like a 1.5 years ago. So I don't know what tools I'm using. He didn't reference anything. How am I supposed to remember what tools I used in that video? And so this guy blows up at me, and yet he seems to already know to, you know, I wouldn't recommend anybody using Amazon. It's just basically, you're giving money to the CIA. It sounds crazy, but yeah, look it up. It's true. It's weird. So, yeah, so this guy already knows how to look up stuff, or to find crap on the internet, so why is he even asking me? It's just bizarre. Bizarre as hell. Okay, so, happy times here. Ian Reed, or is it Red? Ian Reed. Great video, great channel, and you pronounce Tamiya correctly. Yeah. People are always Tamiya or Tamaya, or I think those are the 2 I hear most. I guess I can, if I think long enough, I can remember other ways that people pronounce Tamiya incorrectly. But, you know, I try not to look down my nose at people like that. But he does point out that some people, you know, they just don't even care. I'm like, well, whatever. It's Tamiya. Tamiya. So, it's real easy. Okay, so, Dan Fryer. I just got this today, actually. I suppose those who show I support those who show their uh-ohs. This shows how to fix them. Not too many show this too often. Now this is on the Katinga battle cruiser, right? And I will get back to that. But even the heavy hitters like Boyd make boo-boos from time to time. This is why I happily subscribe to your channel. Keep it up. Why, thank you. And actually, I do know that Boyd saw my video, because I started working on this Katinga before Boyd did, and because we both got him from HDA Model Works, and Jerry knows us both, and he told me that Boyd, after seeing my video of what happened to me, Boyd chose not to use the photo etch for the Katinga, or at least, I can't remember, I think maybe, at least he didn't use that photo etch band that goes across the bulb. Yeah, so of course we can learn from our own mistakes, or, we can learn from other people's mistakes. If I hide my mistakes, then people can't learn from that. So with my humility, I will suffer the slings and arrows from internet trolls like this guy, or this guy. Yeah, these guys suck. But you already know that if you've been watching my channel for a while. Yeah.
Why do you want to impeach Trump?
I want 4-year-olds to not vomit blood!
Okay.
So basically, not only do I not care about people who criticize me for making mistakes, I actually I don't even really care how many subscribers I have, and I'm checking now. I have over 8,000 subscribers. Again, I'm not going to say thank you to all my subscribers, because without fail, I will have 1 to 3 people who thumb down my videos, and I'm pretty sure those are all subscribers. Ever since YouTube has digged around with the Creator Studio stuff, they kind of keep us in the dark, whereas it used to be, it was very easy to see where the dislikes were coming from within the whole world, and whether or not they were subscribers or not. Now it's really muddied, and it's funny because, if they're supposed to make the experience better, but they just end up making it worse for some reason. Anyhow, yeah, so I get subscribers who just thumb down my stuff within moments, even after right after I upload it, and I know that they haven't even watched the whole thing yet, and they just thumb it down. So whatever, if that's how they want to spend their life, then whatever, they're idiots. Anyhow, yeah, 8,000 subscribers, and I thought that maybe if I just piss people off more, maybe I can lower that down. I was trying to keep it from reaching 8,000 before August, just as a personal challenge to myself, and I succeeded at that. At least I think I had a part of that. I don't know. And then a few months ago, I shared some footage of Putin making a speech to try to piss people off, but apparently I need to up the ante. So without further ado, I'm going to end this video with a bit of wisdom from David Icke. So enjoy, and if you don't enjoy, feel free to unsubscribe. So as always, live long and prosper. May the force be with you, and so long, and thanks for all the fish. Goodbye. And here it is, Mr. Icke.
Here you have, just take the vaccines and human-caused global warming. You have the big pharma cartel globally that basically can say what it likes. It can claim what it likes. It controls the medical professions via the medical associations. It controls government health policy. Whatever you have, it's a scalpel or a drug. If every problem looks like a nail, every answer looks like a hammer. So there you go with that. They can say what they like. They can advertise on television. All the medical correspondents come on repeating big pharma propaganda. And yet one man going into Australia, talking for 4 hours each time in 6 Australian cities about many connected subjects, but say vaccines. He's a problem. I'm a problem. That's the scale of fear they have for information, because when the vaccine information is put for public attention, the big pharma cartel cannot answer it. Therefore, it wants to shut it up. It's a very simple thing. If you can't win, this is how they work. If you can't win the debate, don't have it. So if you want to know what's the agenda, what are big parts of the agenda, simply look at what you can't have an alternative opinion about. You get censored and banned for saying, or abuse for saying, calculated abuse. And then you've got human-caused global warming. every news bulletin in the frickin' world, year after year after year, we're all gonna die. Okay? One man coming into Australia and saying, we ain't. That's a problem. So we're going to ban him. Oh, don't let him say that. Just take a breath and look at that. The totality of their control of information, and they're terrified of one guy speaking at 6 meetings. That's the scale of fear they have of information to challenge the official narrative, and that's why this hysteria of censorship is happening ever faster.
I know a lot of good people who campaign for causes, and it seems when a cause reaches a certain level, it gets co-opted, and the people manipulating the public channel that energy into something then that they can profit from. So with the global warming hoax, how is that scam run?
Runs like this. You use the Nazi technique. You keep repeating the lie, and eventually people will believe it. Well, everyone knows that, mate. Why? Because that's all everyone's heard. And you find among the general population, despite the constant propaganda, how many people don't buy it? Because they've got a brain they put on active duty, and they can see through it. Anyway, this is what happened, is that I said long time ago that human-caused global warming is a hoax for a reason. Because you just say it's a hoax, people are obviously going to ask, well, why is it a hoax? And you have to be able to answer that, otherwise you've got no credibility. And there has to be a reason, otherwise it wouldn't be a hoax. And the reason is to justify the centralization of power to save the planet. And we already have the blueprints for that in the process, called Agenda 21 and Agenda 2030 out of the UN, which seek to centralize power and control over the fine detail of people's lives, control of water, control of energy, control of everything to save the planet, right? This is why the hoax is being played. Then you have this lady, Ocasio-Cortez, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, a politician who's not long been elected out of New York, who's come out with something called the Green New Deal. The Green New Deal is based on the fact that, according to her, we're going to pass the point where the Earth can be saved 12 years from now. Well, sorry, what about the points we passed before, where we won't be able to do anything after this point? But actually, now it's 12 years hence. Well, that's a good thing, isn't it? Because we all should be dead now or going on there. I mean, Al Gore, the only thing you know about Al Gore is if his lips are moving, he's bloody lying. And he's been the front man for this thing. I mean, hello. Look at the history of Al Gore. If he ever told the truth, he would genetically implode, right? And you believe in him. Anyway, what happened what happens is her Green Deal demands centralization of power and control over people's lives. Then you've got these people in London, this Extinction Rebellion that's recently shut some streets in London to demand action over human-caused global warming. And they're demanding the same centralization of power. And basically, it's a form of Marxism, communism, you call it fascism, just names, same thing, tyranny, that is being imposed or sought to be imposed through the excuse that we've got to save the world. And what they have done to young children through the propaganda in the schools to frighten little kids that the world's going to end in their lifetimes is absolutely disgusting, and it's child abuse. And it's been a few phrases I've used over the years, like what you hate you become and what you fight you become. And I see these anti-haters full of hate. I see the anti-fascists full of fascism. And you see these free society people imposing a tyranny. Because it's based on this. I am right. End of story. That's where their mentality goes. I am right. Now, everything comes from this. Because I am right, what I say should be imposed on everyone else, because if they don't agree with me, then they are wrong by definition because they say something different to me, and I am right. Goes like this too. I am right, therefore, why should people that say something different to me have freedom of speech? It's like one person said about me once, what is the benefit in allowing him to speak? He actually said that. It was printed in the Independent newspaper magazine. And that person will think he's a, paragon of freedom. And so you've got these, what's happened is the left in politics has been hijacked. It's not the liberal left that I grew up in. It's not the liberal left that I supported. The liberal left that in the 60s when I was a kid was going on marches demanding freedom of speech. It's now the progressive fake left that goes on marches and protests demanding that freedom of speech is taken away. And so they've got this in their head, not least because that's all they've heard through the school system. We're all going to die. And I'm sure great numbers of people who were shutting the streets of London and are, supporting Ocasio-Cortez and all this stuff, they genuinely believe what they're saying. But they haven't understood it's a hoax and why it's a hoax and the fact that they are demanding exactly the changes in society that the hoax was played to impose and justify. And if they did, they would realize that they are being played like a stringed instrument.
Because the knee-jerk reaction from some people when they hear the title global warming hoax is that you think that we're not harming Mother Earth, but that's not the case, is it?
I was a national spokesman for the British Green Party. I care deeply about the environment. And you know what's happening, Shaun, is that because of this obsession and focus on the hoax of human-caused global warming to justify the centralization of global and national power, other real environmental issues are being marginalized. We're not talking about them. What we're seeing is beautiful landscapes being destroyed by massive wind farms to fight a problem that isn't real. How come temperatures were much higher in the medieval warm period, 800, 1,000 years ago? What caused them? Turbocharged handcarts? Hey? Flatulent cattle? I mean, what caused it? Because it weren't souped up 4x4s, was it? And you notice something else. They keep going on about CO2. CO2! Without CO2, we'd all be dead. Why do you think the plants grow? I mean, and we're breathing it out. Ban breathing CO2, right? And then you look at the greenhouse gas graph. 98% or thereabouts of greenhouse gases holding the heat in, water vapor and clouds. Ban them, I say. Ban them. CO2, tiny smear, and most of that is naturally caused. So let's demonize the gas of life, shall we? Yeah, that's a good one. Keep saying it enough times and they'll believe that it's real, because everyone knows that, because it's all you've ever heard. So the reason, again, they are banning, and I was banned from Australia in part for my views on this, the reason they're banning alternative views on these things is because they can't win the debate. And because they can't win the debate, they shut it down.
I was just thinking, like, if I were to remove one of these pins here, if I only had 3 instead of 4, and if I go in blackface, I could be Commander Sisko instead of Picard. But the thing is, I have no idea how to do blackface. Maybe I can ask a liberal. Maybe I think chances are I might get lucky and they might know how to do it. Because at this rate, with them exposing their hypocrisy like this, they might know.